Right. Good afternoon, VV Nation. Alex, already with the optimism. Woohoo. Here we are with the Santa is on his way. I like that optimism, Alex. Welcome to Trending Thursday. My name is Ryan. Always a pleasure. And as you can tell, I got a lot more energy. I was sick earlier this week, but I'm feeling good today. And I'll tell you what, 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 green lights in a row. Nice. Ollie G says, I won big with Path earnings calculated risk. I like Path, and that little dip when it became undervalued not too long ago. Hey, I can't be mad at it, Ollie G. As long as you stuck to your plan and you got some discipline, is what it is. VV Santa is coming to town. VV Santa. Hey there. All right. Let's take a look. I tell I'm a little optimistic. Got the bull behind me. Was a little worried this morning. As I noticed, the Q's pretty much staled. Trying to get, I said it yesterday, trying to get above 624, 625, opened and rejection right out of the gate here. But looking at the major indices, look at this: Dow Jones flat, NASDAQ flat, S&P flat. It's all flat today, right? Not a lot of momentum today. So if you are buying, just be careful as the confirmed down situation is still in effect right now. So if you are more conservative in nature, just be careful of that. Just be careful. Dell is moving. Are you going to change the rating? Dell, those ratings are not by me. Those are calculated ratings today. You're talking about the buy, hold, and sell ratings. And we're going to go into that stuff. So today, can you suggest some robotic stocks and ETFs other than Path? I actually have a list, Ollie G. We can take a look at that. But today I wanted to focus on a couple things. One, learning things, right? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power in this world, right? We're going to learn some things today. And I really want to know what you guys want to learn. So if there's certain things like Shaw, Dell is moving. Are you going to change the rating? Well, we can go over the rating, right? We can go exactly, and I'll show you when the buys are given, when the sells are given, and in between, obviously, the holds, right? Dell founder giving $6 billion to Trump funds. Yes, I saw that with the accounts, for future generations and things of that nature. We'll see how that works out. I will say that was a very nice gesture from Dell founder to do that. Whatever you think of Trump, we don't talk politics, but the fact that the Dell family, the founder is able to give, and I'm pretty sure that's the largest what would you call that? Donation per se for the youth. I'm almost positive. Pretty much. I think I remember that from CNBC. Maybe a quick chart treading candles. Okay. DJT is a good president. I'm not getting political. Yo, Brian, what's up, Bill? Deal for Dell in the works with the administration. Well, I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat in office. If you are a multi-billion or multi-trillion-dollar company, you probably got to work with the administration you're dealing with, right? Your thoughts on MU? Still a great stock for sure. All right, just look at the Dow Jones here. A little mixed, right? So, not quite sold on buying a whole lot today. There are some proprietary indicators under, under the hood. They're giving a little bit more optimism here, right? MTI being back above 1. Is it time to watch Quantum? We can take a look at Quantum. I got a Quantum watch list. We can take a look at the watch list average. Give us a good sense if the trend is there or not. Alfredo says, I'm staying with MU. I got a whole lot of family that owns MU. I don't own it personally. Maybe I should add a little bit of that in my 401k. Normally, my 401k is very boring. Very boring. My trading account is very exciting, though, right? That's enough excitement for me. Ryan, MU, Broadcom, or NVIDIA? What is one choice for 2026? Ollie G, all right, we can have that conversation because tonight's video is actually going to talk a little bit about this. Qualcomm is back. Okay. I like semiconductors. Me personally, I feel like being diversified within the semiconductors is probably your safest pick. And the reason why I say that, technology, changes as quickly as possible. And someone just mentioned quantum, right? How's that going to affect the rest of these companies? I think staying diversified. Leaders of the pack, in my opinion, I like Google, I like NVIDIA, I like TSM, Micron. Those would be my leaders of the pack personally. Don't make any financial decisions because I said that. QCOM, is it worth it? We can take a look at the VectorVest system. Marvel, I like Marvel. And actually, I think I left it out of tonight's video, but Marvel and Intel could definitely benefit from the Broadcom Google partnership on these TPUs, by the way. TPUs. All right, question. I've had HL for a few months. A couple weeks ago, 100% ROI, sold half my shares to take profits. HL's gone 100% ROI again. Should I sell the other half or let it ride? Depends what the chart's telling you. Vic, what is the chart telling you? Is it an uptrend or is this chart telling you that there's some problems right now, right? And you don't have to think all or nothing. You know, if you want to keep a little bit, you don't have to take the rest of it off the table, but let the chart tell you what to do, right? And we can take a look at the chart as well. We can definitely do that. All right, but looking at the, the major indices here, a little mixed today. So, but BSR, if we notice here, BSR 0.71, it was stagnant in the 0.6s for about a week now. Actually, I was a little concerned about it because it's almost lower than it was 4 days ago. But the bump in the BSR to 0.71, that's what I like to see. And if you don't know what BSR is, buy-sell ratio. You see the ratio here? Buys 1,600, sells 2,300, right? Just a simple approach. If you think about it, we got a database, 9,848 stocks now, right? If majority of those stocks have a sell rating right now, which we're going to exclude holds because normally the majority is always the holds, but if the sells outweigh the buys in that database of stocks, well, collectively, probably not a very healthy database, right? Or healthy market per se. And that's what BSR really gives us an indication of, the health of the market, right? The fact that the health of the market ticked up in the 0.7s today, I'm excited about that. The fact that we got a third green light in a row, I'm excited about that. So let's jump in the software here. All right, there we go. We got the home page. Now, you can see the top RT industries. Biotech still leading the charge here. Steel, hot, petroleum. I talked about petroleum the last live stream here. I think it's kind of an under the radar picks. I like petroleum, at least some of those stocks that we went into. We can take a look at some of them today. Let's see here. Was talking with ChatGPT about NVIDIA and CUDA versus the rest of the competition. Said that CUDA is the moat. Alex, you're on to something. And before we get into deeper this conversation, I'll put it like this. I've asked management here at VectorVest to allow potentially my cousin from Charleston to be a guest speaker on the show. And if you've been watching the show for a while, I'll put it like, simply put, he had AMD on my radar 2017. Let's take a look at what AMD was doing in 2017. I'm going to go 10 years. Woo-hoo-hoo. 2017, just a random time here. About $11, roughly, right? I'm going to try to get him on the show because he's got some very good information here. I told you about his perspective on Micron and some of the others. NVIDIA, I'm going to tell you right now, Google's TPUs, they're not going to replace NVIDIA. It'll cause maybe some revenue issues in the future because they have some efficiency qualities, but I don't see it being a killer when it comes to NVIDIA by any means, right? And if you're worried about that, TSM, they're the manufacturer on both sides, right? Google and NVIDIA. So, that's the winner of my belt. It's going to be TSM. Let's see here. How is Glenn doing? I hope he is doing good. Michael, I will say this. I will see Glenn personally next weekend. I've only, talked to him on the phone, text over the last few weeks here. Holidays, things are getting busy. But I will see him next weekend, him and his wife, and maybe we get a good photo of us I can put on the channel. But as far as I know, he's doing good. He's doing good. He's just recovering, and I'm not going to rush him by any means come back to this channel. His health is my number one concern right now. So when he's good to come back, hey, I'll put him back in the saddle, no problem. AMD is still behind, being only run by Linux, being only run on Linux. They have some catching up to do. Hardware is not really the difference maker. It's the software, where CUDA is the dominant force. Absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. And AMD is not going to be replaced, unless they come out with some crazy chip over the next few years. No. It's not going to be replacing NVIDIA. Like I said, AMD, all they have to do is stay in the race and still maybe a couple percentage points of the overall AI data market share. Not a 10, 20, 30%, but just a couple percentage points, and that company will grow. All right, let's get to some stocks here. Now, I'm going to go right into your stock picks. The reason why, because I really want to focus on the questions when it comes to our proprietary indicators and just overall analysis on these stocks. So go ahead and give me 20 stocks in the list here. Give me 20 stocks. And we can take a look at some of those watch list, quantum, robotics, things of that nature as well. Ryan, Russell 2000 at new high. Interesting. And, with the possibility of another interest rate cut, because I don't want to say anything is guaranteed in life, I'm not surprised small caps, they benefit from interest rate cuts, right? They benefit from that. All right, let me type in these stocks here. We got MKSI, FRSH, HL, IVDA, UAMY. UAMY? No, we're going to look at that one. We can definitely look at that one. I haven't bought it yet. I'm looking in the fours. See what it's doing right now. All right. CoreWeave, Qubits, EXE, Iron, try to get as many of these we can here. NVIDIA does not make a TPU, as far as I know. Let's see here. All right, MU. CANIONQ, EXE, Hood, TNA, CCJ, Dell, Jazz, what you mean by rare earth? NFLX. Uranium, we could take a look at uranium. I'd probably do it through the sector graph, might be a little bit more efficient, or the industry graph to get better overall. Yeah, okay, yeah, Jazz, we're going to go over some sector charts as well today. I am flying. I think my texts are not coming across. I still need to one. Let's see here. Trying to put out, where did I leave off with? Uranium, COS. No, we don't have that one. COS. Oh, are you thinking about Costco, maybe? VHY. We don't have that one. SNDK. Well, Riot. ABEO. All right. That's going to be it right here. Yep, I'm going to widen that ticker column in just a moment here. That's a whole lot of stocks. 31 stocks. I'm one over. It's all right. Let's widen this out here. Let's widen this out. Right. Here's Hecla Mining. Right. Here's Hecla Mining. First thing I want to do, let's right click on this. Go to View Industry Graph. Let's look at what mining is doing here. The value still increasing. If the value went stagnant, that'd be a concern, but the value is not stopping when it comes to mining gold and silver. You can see the long-term trend line here. Yeah, we are a little overextended from that trend line. And you can see I have a level of support here around, what, 959. Our stop price is at 969. Just above that, right? Just above that. Just above it. Now, forecasted data, look at, don't overthink it. As long as it's moving lower left, upper right, we got positive numbers, sales growth rate 19, growth rate earnings 10. Don't overthink it, right? Phenomenal here. As far as an investment, I like what I see here. So now let's break this down a little bit more. And Jazz, I see what you're seeing. It's a cup, right? It's a cup. Well, cup's a little short. Let's see here. Actually, other than this one candlestick, might not be a bad cup, right? You can see the handle forming right now, right? Now, if this cup and handle formation, doesn't go the right way, yes, that would be a concern, right? Now, if I'm looking for confirmation here, probably this swing high, the top of this wick, probably around $11. Right now, it's around 1063, right? But I'd want this handle, I need to get to break above this level here. Now, this is the top of the cup, so that's where I want to see it broken. As far as this, chart pattern here, that is a bullish chart pattern. Sometimes I've done it before in the past. If you do a little line here from the bottom of that cup to the top of the cup here, about like that, just put it on top. About, this cup formation comes to fruition, probably looking around $13 as a price target here, right? Now, obviously, if that momentum wanes, we break some moving averages, nothing is guaranteed in life. But if this does work out, ideally, that would be the perspective of price. I'm looking at around 13, right? And look at the value, 13.15. So not that out of the question, all right? So hopefully that gave you some guidance there when it comes to gold and silver. Now let's go back. Here's Hecla Mining, down 3% today. Fill of soups. Let's see here. As far as these stocks, let's look at where the value's at. Let's reorganize these. This is actually kind of annoying that the columns always reset there. All right, so value, if you're a value buyer, if you're little, not that speculative, don't want to get into too crazy speculative trades, these are the type of stocks here, right? We've got undervalued positions. And yes, you would want some fundamentals to match that if you're more conservative, right? RV, RS is above 1 ideally. RVs are all above 1. Relative safeties, lagging here. Micron qualifies for both and undervalued. And we take a look here. What's another one that qualifies? Moeller, MLI, phenomenal. Buy rating as well, along with Micron. Safety below 1. Here's another one, Hecla Mining. We got Power Industries here. Undervalued, strong fundamentals. Meta. And that's, let's see here. Nope. So yes, so as far as undervalued stocks, they've got favorable safety ratings. This is, alternative is a soup of a cup of soaps, right? Not every cup and handle formation works out. Not every chart formation works out, right? Because if they always worked out, well, we'd have a bunch of extra millionaires around. So that's why you have to stay disciplined. Now, looking at these stocks, yes, these are going to be more conservative, safer picks, right? Safer picks. You got Micron, MLI, phenomenal companies here, phenomenal companies. Now, as far as more speculative picks, we scroll down the list and look, the VectorVest software knows where the speculation is, right? You got D-Wave, IO&Q, Palantir, CoreWeave, Nibius. That's why I love this software. It does such a great job of organizing stocks, right? Now you can see at the bottom of the list here, look at the safety ratings. You're not getting any safety. Well, Palantir, a little bit of safety. A little bit more safety here. A Well Tower. CCJ. US Antimony. Netflix. These would be the more overvalued speculative picks, but yet can offer you a little bit of safety, a little bit of sense of safety here compared to some of these other stocks. Definitely, right? So you got to ask yourself if you're more conservative or aggressive, right? Because if you're conservative in nature and you hop in an aggressive stock, it might not work out too well for you. It might, if you're not disciplined, could become an emotional trade. And that's what we don't want here. Now, just looking at IO&Q and D-Wave, they're both up 11% today. And actually, while we're doing that, let's go to special watch list. We've got a quantum watch list here, quantum computing stocks. It does have some of the bigger players and more speculative players, everything from NVIDIA, Google, all the way down here. We got Atom, Eric Quantum, some of the, Rigetti, Seals Corp. But look at the momentum here. So I could see why people are asking about quantum stocks today. So let's take a look. We're going to view watch list average graph. Drag this over. All right. I will say collectively, and obviously the bigger companies are going to make the charts look a little bit better for the littler companies, right? But overall, value is rising in the space. Price action is there. Momentum is in the space. Well above our stop price here, this blue shaded area, that's our stop price. So if you see the candlesticks go below our stop price, that's when we would definitely have some concern there. As far as relative timing, looks like a dip opportunity might be in the works here. If I go to a 3-month time span, you can see RT hit a low 0.69 with momentum to the downside, now starting to rebound with a series of higher highs. It looks like a higher low here, coming around 0.83 as of yesterday. But I do like to see this RT trick higher and higher. And the prior swing high of RT is at 0.93. So we're pretty close at 0.9, right? So we can potentially take out that prior swing high in RT as well. Let's get it back above 1. Just sold 6 qubits cover calls. Okay. Hey, protecting profits, can't be mad at. But this is the space in general. We'll get to the individual stock here in just a moment. And while we're looking at watch list, robotics drones. Let's see what this robotics drones watch list is doing here. All right, look at that. Whew. All right. Okay, that was a good move yesterday on those earnings. Like I said, I liked it. Wasn't mad at it at all. Now let's just see where we could find some value in the robotic space here. LifeWord. These at the top. UPath. I'd rather be, the top of the list. You're going to be a little bit safer than the bottom of the list, just from a value perspective, right? As far as relative safeties, on average, it's 0.84. So you're not going to get a whole lot of, every time I make a move, I have to reset that column, right? So again, if you're looking for robotics companies, right, and you're looking for a little bit more value and less just, hype and speculation, at the bottom, yeah, that's, more speculation, right? At the top, a little bit more value opportunities here. And the biggest mover today might just be UPath, and which looks like it is. And some of the ones gaining that momentum here, Redwire, which is also got some value opportunity. Well, compared to the other stocks, I should say, right? You can see the value on average. The ratio here is 0.49, right? So if you want a little bit more better value than the average robotic stock, let's aim for stocks above 0.49, right? So if we put these in order, because there's clearly a lot of momentum there looking at the percent price chain. The average, above average, as far as value opportunity, starts with this one, right? So these stocks here, as far as robotics, would have the top of my list just from that perspective alone. Now, obviously, the charts could take you in a different direction here. All right, customer reviews. All right, let's get back to this list here. And let's actually look at these stocks. Let's look at this watch list average. These are the stocks you guys are interested in. Let's see if this watch list average looks good. Now, if I had a portfolio of these 30 stocks, that wouldn't be too bad, right? You'd go from about, $70 on the low to about 131 currently. Not a bad move. This is good. This is a good list of stocks here, right? And if we take a look at earnings per share, steadily rising here collectively, right? Sales growth rate, not the best, but still coming in, 75%? That's phenomenal, right? And it is growing over the last year. Growth rate in earnings, other than this little taper here, since about August on the downside, still 24%. And the sales growth rate outpacing earnings collectively. That means there's a lot of fuel for that, earnings engine. And RT here at 0.92. So yes, if you're buying these stocks collectively, really since the dip, about November 13th here, just know you're going against the trend, overall trend here, short-term trend. There's a little bit more, aggressive, right? But we all like buying dips. We all like saving a little bit of money, but just stay disciplined just in case the market decides not to continue this rally, right? But being said, I mean, this looks really good. Let's just look at a 6-month time frame. Other than the earnings rolling off, actually sales is starting to drop a little bit. Still looks good overall. And honestly, for these stocks, you're not that overvalued overall as well. Interesting. I like this list. Let's see here. Market timing taking a red dive right now. Let's see what market timing is doing. Still got the green light. NASDAQ down 46, down 50. Let's take a look at the VectorVest composite here. This is the broad market. Well, just looking at this right here, I'd say it's the small caps time to shine today, right? You know, the big caps, not doing much of anything really, but the small caps really starting to shine. And apparently, the Russell just hit a new high, right? I'm trying to think, who told me that? Was that you, Bill? You said the Russell hit a new high? Been a lot of comments today. JBL just turned to a buy. Anyone in this one? All right, let's see here. Let's go through these stocks. Graph all. All right, Hecla Mining. Look at this pivot here. I talked about this earlier this week. This is the pivot I'm looking for. 16 to about 1538. If we can catch a level of support here and a nice bounce to the upside, I see this run possibly continuing here. As far as the forecasted data, earnings per share is rising, sales growth rate 67%, earnings growth rate 38%. Phenomenal stock. Phenomenal stock. Yes, a little bit of a pullback. If it breaks this pivot area here, you've got the sell recommendation just below. So keep that in mind. Micron at 226 currently. Lower high than from the previous high, right? Stay disciplined on this stock. Still a good stock. Undervalued. Rising forecasted data. But yes, a little bit of pressure on with this position right now. As far as the stop price, we're currently at 202.84. 202.84. Which if we see before has kept us in the trade for quite some time here. So we got a little bit of wiggle room before the software would just give it a sell recommendation, right? We're still at a hold rating. Value still rising. I like everything with Micron when it comes to this forecasted data, the value. Now, as far as RT 1.34, the momentum is still there. It is waning. You can see it's waning here. Actually, what was that high? 1.77. What's this low here? 1.23. We are currently at 1.35. If RT drops below 1.23, that would be my first warning sign, right? Clearly, if it drops below the oscillation point of 1, but definitely if we hit a new low, a series of lower highs, lower lows on RT, that would have me concerned here. But overall, the stock, still a good pick in my opinion. Wouldn't have told my mom to buy it otherwise, right? Moeller, steady. Yeah, this is whoever gave me this one. As long as it stays in that ascending channel, I like it. And I'll tell you what, if it breaks above this channel, goes parabolic short term, probably wouldn't be too surprised. But look at value. Nice, steady. This is actually phenomenal stock. Who gave me MLI? Who gave me this one? Thank you, by the way, for giving me the stock. Whoever's watching this should thank that person too, because that is a beautiful chart here. Yeah, ideally, lower end of the channel, probably better entry point, right? If it breaks the channel, the trade is over. But as long as it stays in this channel to the upside, hey, it's making money. Why overthink it, right? Growth rate earnings, 20%. Sales growth rate, 18%. Good numbers. Earnings per share steadily rising here. Phenomenal stock. Phenomenal stock. I mean, I like this a lot. Western Digital, hey, value's rising. It was greatly undervalued, but you could tell that value to price ratio catching up, right? Becoming more fairly valued. Still phenomenal stock, 159. It's a memory device. Roger, that's right, Roger. Gotcha. Thank you, Roger. And hey, y'all say thank you to Roger, because I mean, this is like the easiest trade. Easiest trade. And if you get into the bottom of the channel, probably even better, right? So thank you for that, Roger. Someone should send you a Christmas present for that one, hopefully. As long as it stays in the channel, right? Western Digital here. I like it. I wouldn't be backing up to buy it. I will say this. We got a clear trend line here. Let's see how long it stays below this trend line, right? Let's see how long it stays below that trend line. If that trend line pushes it below here, I'd be concerned, and that's 137. That's 137. You see my line? Our stop price just came into this right now. So our stop's at 140. 140, okay? I still like this. I still like it, but you're getting that consolidation, so it might take you closer to this level here. I mean, this stock was 60 bucks, ran up to 180. Phenomenal company here. The only caveat I see is just the growth rate in earnings. It is tapering a little bit. I mean, it was closer to 40%. Right now, it's at 28%. So not bad by any means, but it's just slowing down a little bit. And the stock, I mean, it actually tripled in price. Went from 60 to 180. Yeah, I see a breather. A healthy breather. That is all with this position. I like it. Still like it. MKSI. This is why all these stock picks. Look at this. Phenomenal. Value rising, price rising, right? And look at this. Let me teach you something here. A little freehand line. There's the resistance right there. What happens every time it touches this line, right? Let me extend it back a little bit, right? At least for what? The last 6 months. Every time it touches this line from the bottom, boom, 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 gets rejection, right? Rejection. MKS is an endovascular. I know people who work there. Good company. Nice. I mean, I like this, but I'm just going to be honest. In the short term, yeah, if we get some rejection here, not going to be surprised by that. But if you're holding it, I want it to jump above this trend line. Because if I had to guess, if it breaks above this trend line, you might get a little parabolic move. And if you take profits on that, that's up to you. But at least, maybe taking a little off the table. That's probably what I would do in that situation. But my core holding probably still, would still keep it just because the price chart looks so good. This is nice. Look at semiconductor too. You know me, I love a good semiconductor, hot space. And as long as it stays this blue shaded area, this is our stop price. Again, I'm going to teach you guys today. So if you have any questions about these indicators, please ask. The stop price, 13-week moving average. Where it gets interesting is though, they adjust. I don't do it. VectorVest. This is all created by Dr. Lito, a mathematician, way before my time here, right? Now, as far as MKSI, wait, earnings per share, interesting. But yeah, this stop price here, we adjust it based on the company's fundamentals, right? So if the company's got like high RV, high RS, fundamental indicators, right? Typically, we're going to loosen that stop up. Give it a little bit more wiggle room to grow, right? Me personally, I agree with Dr. Lito. Yeah, if stock's fundamentally sound, yeah, I'd give it a little bit more wiggle room to grow, right? And just to the adverse effect, if the company's got poor fundamentals, we're going to tighten up that 13-week moving average. Mitigate risk, mitigate losses, right? As far as forecast data, though, on this one, other than the earnings growth rate tapering off a little bit, still double digits, still above 20%. And Stacy says earnings next week for this position. So as far as earnings here, let's look at it's undervalued. I like it going into earnings because I'll put it like this. Companies that are undervalued can typically deliver a little bit less at earnings and get away with it, right? Makes sense? A company that's way overvalued, the bar is set so high. Very little room for error. So just keep that in mind. Going into earnings, I like rising earnings per share, undervalued stocks. And of course, sales growth rate rising, earnings growth rate rising would help me too. But, double digits here, I like this. I like it a lot. SanDisk, let's just do this. If this one's on your radar here, I mean, that's a clear trend line. And it looks like we might be breaking this downtrend here soon too. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. As of right now, I'd put a stop. Well, and this is more of a trader's perspective. Obviously, if you're an investor, give a little bit more wiggle room and you have your own plan in place. But this is what I would be concerned of, taking out this prior swing low, right? Because clearly we see lower highs, but we don't have a lower low yet, right? We failed that right here. We actually got a big update today. So we could break this little downward trend line. We got an undervalued stock, fresh buy rating, rising forecasted data across the board. And RT actually salvaged just above 1. I like this trade. I like this. This is a good one. But just be careful if it breaks this. Our stop price is right below 178. That's when the sell recommendation would be given. Here's EXE. That's a good one. I like it. I like it. I mean, undervalued. What's the value? Over 180. We're trading at 122 here. SanDisk up on Micron news. Telling you, Micron's going to have a whole lot of news about a whole lot of facilities popping up over the next couple of years, right? And those facilities are only going to encourage, new partnerships, right? Again, I like Micron. They have the largest single investment in New York State history, close to $100 billion for fab plants. So, I like Micron. If it dips a little bit more, I might have my mom take another nibble at it. EXE here, Expand Energy Corp. This is a petroleum company here. Again, petroleum's kind of been under the radar as far as good stock plays lately. I'm not a huge on petroleum, but I can't argue it. Let's see here. Where's this one? Ooh, we are at a new high. A little bit of rejection here. If we get much rejection, be careful of that. But if we could break above this around 123, what's the high today? We'll just call it, what is the high? Let's use Dateline. Dateline, high, 124. Let's call it 125. 125 is what I'm looking for here. As far as RT, short terms on our side. Forecasted data, all moving in the right direction. Can you answer a question? Why has SanDisk sold off from the highs? Because the market makes those decisions. Michael, do I have SanDisk on? Oh, okay, SanDisk. Here we go. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's sold off. Just like Micron, just like Nvidia, no stock just goes up, 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 up. You ever seen a stock do that? Day after day, week after week? No, right? They go up, they come back down. If it's a good stock, it goes back up, right? So that's why I like this as a pivot here, this 182. And it looks like a lot of investors today are agreeing that. You see a full body candlestick trading at session highs. Yes, it is up today. It is, right? But overall, the trend is up, right? And right now, the market found a nice little pivot to try to push that trend even higher. So hopefully it will come through. And breaking that downward trend line would only make me feel more comfortable with that trade. SanDisk may have been dragged up a bit with other storage devices. VectorVest has them in different industries. Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I don't do the industry stuff. I don't put the stocks in. We have a data department for that, so I can speak on as far as that thing. Let's see, but EXE, petroleum, again, I could see petroleum shaping up. And the software is telling us that. It's one of the top RT industries right now. App loving. A little bit of trouble here. A little bit of troubled waters. That's usually where you want to use your own stops in place. Obviously, if you don't have a plan in place, no one knows when the stock is going to start selling off, right? But we do have that recourse here. Let's see earnings. Did I have earnings recently? Yes, it did. So it looks like earnings, the market sold off. It looks like the dip buyers came in. I do like that momentum here. Now we are approaching the next high at 726 here, around 726. App back to a buy rating. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's just transitional. Again, the buy, hold, sell, right? Because everyone watching this bought the stock at a different price, right? So they're a general recommendation. Don't treat it like a verb. Now, if you had bought, a position and it goes into a sell rating, yes, know that you're holding on to it is risky, right? Is risky. This stock was a sell rating for a couple days. Now, as far as this position, other than it being overvalued here, 308 compared to 689, I don't see much of a problem here, right? And if we get a break above at 726, we might just get a nice parabolic move after that perspective, right? And look at RT relative timing, back in favorable territory here as well. Because once the RT went below 1, see that? That's when the hold rating was given, giving us a warning sign. The sell picked up, letting us know that momentum is picking up to the downside here. And that close that day was 539. The low, 489, right? Ryan, hi, Ryan, give us a choice. NBIS or CoreWeave, which would you choose? That's a open-ended question. We could address that, though, here in a few when we get to those stocks. Pretty sure they're in this list. But app 11, I'm looking for the breakout here, right? Now, if we get some rejection, what do you call that? Double top chart pattern, right? If you're looking for confirmation or how to work a double top chart pattern, just Google it, and there would be some simple steps there, right? But otherwise, just other than the valuation, I still like app 11. Still like it. Here's POW, undervalued. Look at that. Price action went right up to our valuation, became fairly valued. A little bit of a pullback here. Again, brief sell rating. RT actually just looks like it's at 0.99. So now just becoming a little bit more favorable here. Earnings per share on the rise. Sales growth rate dipped, but decided to come back at 8%. Growth rate 22%. Good stock. Good stock. Actually, let's add one more thing. I'm going to do VST here. Because it didn't matter what I mean, obviously you guys matter what I think since you're watching me. But more importantly, look at the VST rating, right? Strong candidate, overall value, safety, and timing. Above 1. Chart, I like it. I like it. Now, if this value starts to continually decline and price continues this decline, that I'm not going to like, and you guys know that, right? So that's what I'm seeing right now. Value declining, price declining. So keep an eye on that when it comes to this position, because we've seen that too many times, right? That can turn bad, so just be careful there. Here's EAT. Look at this. Well, I was pretty close. Whoever gave me this last, I was pretty close for the rejection level. What did I put? 158. I think the high came in probably here. 155. I was $3 off, so not too bad. But this is more of a channel here. Now that I look at it, probably treat it like a channel here. Oop, there we go. So yeah, as soon as it went into that channel, it got rejection right away, right? So if it doesn't get back into that channel sooner than later, just be careful. RT still above 1, so I am favorable. For the bulls, VST favorable. But just the price trend, it's been a dip. Let's go to a 1-year chart here. Not that pretty of a chart. Again, be careful of this rejection. I do like the valuation perspective, though. I do like that. Here is Hood. Oof, look at Hood. Look at the value. Still ticking up. $52. Yeah, it's trading at a premium. I'm not too surprised by that. It's literally what created the retail trader movement. So no surprise. I'm not going to be surprised this one's trading at a premium, right? And they're very forward-thinking, Hood. So I like Hood overall. VST, value, safety, and timing. Favorable rating, right? Good rating. Nice price trend here. Buy rating just came in place. And I did talk about this because I got rid of a lot of my lines on my charts because I know that confuses people. But the reason why I was looking at this level right here, you see my mouse, right? We got a gap fill, right? So we take a gap. Let's use this little horizontal line. Oh, wait, there we go. Look at this. We filled the gap. You see we filled the gap right here? These two little lines. Filled the gap, right? Got my bottom wick. But look what we put in. A higher low than from this low. So that's what I like right now when it comes to Hood. Honestly, like just reading the chart patterns, that's what I like. And yeah, value snuck up a little bit quicker. Not going to be mad at it, right? Earnings per share is rising. Sales growth rate rising. Nice. GRT rising. Hood moved to buy rating and RT above 1. Yes. So to get a buy rating, good point, John. If you guys don't know this already, to get a buy rating, RT has to be above 1, right? We want trend in our favor. Makes sense, right? We want VST to be above 1. That means we want overall value and safety and time. We don't just want the trend, because that'll just get you more speculative, momentum trades. You combine those two, they both have to be above 1. And on top of that, price has to be above the stop price, this blue area, right? And diverging away. So we got above the stop price, RT back above 1, VST above 1. And then now, really, as of today, we're actually starting to diverge away from that stop price, right? So that's why the buy rating just came in. Above the 50-day moving average too. Let's see here. If you guys don't know how to add a moving average in VectorVest, just simply right-click on price action. And you can add moving averages to other things, whether it's growth rate, value. You pretty much add a moving average to any of these indicators. But if I right-click on price, just go to add moving average, go to simple. Let's change it to 50. Bill says we just broke above the 50. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, look at that. Broke right above the 50. Looks good. Looks good. So yeah, obviously here, if you purchase Hood based off of this gap fill and this little, these couple candlesticks here, that is a trader's perspective and aggressive. Just know that, right? Now that we're back above the 50, we got buy ratings, things of that nature, seeing more confirmation. That's more of a conservative approach, right? The more conservative you are, typically you want a little bit more confirmation, especially getting an overvalued stock, right? I'm back, which has a buy rating. Hood's got a buy rating now. Hood's got a buy rating. And if you missed it, RT's got to be above 1. VST's got to be above 1. Price got to be above the blue line. That's our stop price, and diverging away from it. And with today's momentum, we're diverging away. We got a fresh buy rating. I like Hood. Here's Meta. This is my problem with Meta right now. Just little, you see my lines here. My resistance is going to come around 680, 663. And look at this rejection at the 50-day, right? Great example here. Here's confirmation. Look, full body candlestick yesterday. Today, we just broke right above it, right? Nice momentum there. However, on the other hand, with Meta, this is rejection, right? We're seeing rejection at the 50. We're still in the support zone, but if we break much below 663, I'll call it, which we're actually 662 right now, I would have some warning there. I would have a little bit of warning just in the short term, especially if you're a trader. But as far as an investor, let's look at the 1 year. I'd just do this. Let's just keep this trend. Let's keep that trend. Let's keep this trend. Obviously, we've got concerns about it. We saw the sell recommendation, all this other stuff happening. But if you're still holding on to Meta, as long as we stay above this line, right now it's about just below $600. So you got about $80 right there. So that's giving you a lot of wiggle room, right? Our stop price giving you much less wiggle room. Our stop price, 633. Good in the middle price there. RT relative timing still below 1. So as of right now, yes, you are catching a falling knife. And with this rejection at the 50, the value dropping, look at that value rolling over. When it was above 800, now it's at 750. So just be careful with value and price rolling over. Again, most of you know my favorite chart pattern in VectorVest, probably one of the simplest, and I know it's helped a lot of subscribers out there. Undervalued. Let's just find the example. It's easier with an example. Yeah, I mean value rising, price rising, undervalued. That's simple, right? This one, SanDisk, pretty much kind of qualifies. I'll kind of put that in that category too, even though it got a little overvalued, but that value is running. EXE, look at that. Value's rising, price is rising right now. That's what I like to see. Let's see your power. Where are we at? Meta. So yeah, just be careful of that when it comes to Meta. Here's small cap bull. Look at that. Above the 50. Actually, this is a perfect retest example here. You guys have heard me talk about retest on certain pivots. Well, those pivots can also be moving averages. I did a moving average video where not only can you utilize moving averages for crossovers, bullish bearish crossovers. Most people know about that. But a lot of times these moving averages are just pivots, right? Just pivot places, where liquidity changes essentially, right? We broke above the 50. Look at this retest right here. beautiful retest. Maybe not the most beautiful, but definitely by the third day, look at that confidence we're getting back in the small caps here. RT relative timing back above 1. Let's look at a 6-month chart here. Kind of like it. It's back on the up move. You can see we had some troubles getting past, let's just call it into the 50s. Yeah, right into the 50s. So we're close to 50s now. We're only $1 away. So if you're in it, hey, stick to the trade, right? We got a fresh buy rating. If you're not in it, I'd look for confirmation. Get in the 50s. We're only $1 away now anyway. So instead of buying at a potential point of rejection, I'd rather buy at a potential point of confirmation to the upside. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Someone said it needs to be above 50-day moving average the other day. For the U.S., you talk about U.S. recommendations, like buy, hold, and sells, Bill? Because I don't know about that one. Yeah, please elaborate, Bill. All right, here's Welltower, REIT equity. Let me get rid of the 50. You can see a pretty good point for entry on the 50. I mean, I might as well leave it here. But yeah, so right now, if you got patience, you could wait for the 50 again. Otherwise, price action, lower left, upper right, just overvalued. That's the only caveat here. For a buy, I don't know about that, Bill. I've never heard of not maybe another data, but like one of the other world markets that we track. But as far as U.S., I'm not aware of that. There's 4 components: RT above 1, VST above 1, price above the stop, and price diverging from the stop price. That is it, Bill. That is it. Let's see here. Rising earning. Everything else looks good on this position here. I see some consolidation right here, which you can see we're trying to catch. If we break this consolidation, which is 195, have some patience, because I could see that around that 50-day might just probably work out better, honestly. But if we get some confirmation here to the upside, because we're at what, pretty much 204. We're $4 away from taking out the high and potentially confirmation on the upside, right? So have some patience. But either way, I do like this pivot shaping up. If we do break this support area, I'd probably look closer to the 50 to get a better deal. Netflix, nope. After the split, I'll put it like this. Let's go 1 year. Make this easy. What I see here, if you got some patience with Netflix, look at this. Value rising, price falling, right? The stock's been overvalued for the past year here. But if that value could tip up a little bit and price can come down, we might just have Netflix undervalued in the near future. And right now with rejection, look at this. No sustainability above that 50 right here. Nope. And as far as a nice level of catch, maybe, let's see what here brings. Yeah, I'd put around 99, right? Sub 100, sub 100. Might be somewhere it might try to catch it, right? And we do have another touch here. So I'd say 99 to about maybe 93 could be a potential pivot to look for. And that would bring better value opportunities for Netflix. If you're holding Netflix, it's trending down. You know, I don't know where you bought it at. Stay disciplined. But I do see some opportunities in Netflix potentially in the future here. But with RT this suppressed, below 1 for this long, no. I like the rising earnings, sales growth rate, 19, earnings 22. It's Netflix, it's an industry disruptor. It's not going anywhere, right? I like it, but I think with some patience, we might be getting some better value opportunities, I should say. And honestly, it's trending down, so I don't want you to buy a stock that's clearly trending down. Here's Dell. Look at value rising, price rising, right? Look at this. Maybe I need to find a search that does this, but look, when I zoom in, value declining, price declining. So I don't want to see, right? But as soon as April came in, what do we got here? Price rising, value rising, right? So by April, it definitely had my attention. If I scoot it over, look at this. Values rising, prices rising. Look at that. Nice. Just chasing value. That's what I want to see. So that's why I don't overthink it. That's why I use VectorVest, right? All right. Good example. But Dell, I like it. I like this pivot here. That's nice. 50-day, just be careful. We are approaching that. Because again, we could get rejection or we could get confirmation. You can see the 50s been pretty pivotal. Rejection, rejection, rejection. Broke it. And when it broke it, that's when it ran, right? So if you really want the confirmation, let's break above it. And that's usually when the opportunities can come. Now, if you're an investor, yes, with a VST rating of 1.11, undervalued position, rising earnings per share, still a good investment opportunity, right? Just make sure that the timing is on your side. Because right now, it's not quite on your side, right? It's not quite on your side. I want it back above that 50 to get a little bit more confirmation. Here's Cameco Corp, a uranium company. Let's see here. Price action above the 50. It's overvalued, but hey, I'm going to stick to the technicals on this one. And it's above our stop price, right? Our stop price has kept you in there. That's why I like our stop price. 13-week moving average, and then we take the fundamentals in perspective, right? We take those type of things with consideration. And look, RT just crossed above 1. Early opportunity potentially, right? Just make sure you stay disciplined. I like this. This is actually nice. I like it. Growth rate's rising. Sales growth rate drop. Sales... That's why I don't like to see the sales growth rate -16. Just be careful. I'd stick more to the technicals than the fundamentals right now. UAMY. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. This is always a fun one to talk about, right? Fun one to talk about. Let's go back here. Let's go back. Let's get rid of the stop price because we already know the sell rating is there. Let's get rid of value. Value is about mid 4s right now. So if you want the value opportunity, let it come to you. But this is what I see. Look at this channel right here, right? Boo, boo, boo. Let's zoom in. Right? Talked about this. You know, if I put you on the right side of UAMY, I've made you a lot of money. Now it's my turn because I'm going to start trading UAMY here soon. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm looking for. This channel, it's back in this channel here, right? It stayed in this. Let's get rid of some of these here. Clean this up. There we go. Clean that up for you. You see the channel. Red's the top. Gold's the bottom of the channel, right? We're at the top of the channel. Rejection. Unless it gets above this channel, we get a breakout on top of that channel. What would I expect? Probably a parabolic move again. You know, rare earths, real quick to go parabolic, right? But I'm not quite sold on it. And honestly, I think it might stay in the channel for a little bit. So just be careful when it comes to UAMY. But overall, guess what? It's an ascending channel. The sales growth rate, 238%. If you've watched my videos, was it not Department of Justice, Department of Defense, they're not letting this company fail. They pretty much gave them a contract above regular antimony prices for the next several years. So, and this is when I first started talking about when I broke this little descending channel. If you guys remember, you remember this was last holidays, I believe. Look at this, last October. We're over a year talking about UAMY now. Over a year, and my long-term trend line comes from the bottom of this breakout of this channel, right? So that's my 2 cents on UAMY. Still a long-term bull, but I just think I get a better price. You know, I waited this long, and it'll work out for me. Don't worry. And if you're in it, as long as it stays above this channel, hey, I'm not going to be too concerned. The bottom of this channel, let's just see here, around 342. So just be careful of that, right? Because it could give you, some volatility per se. If it gets, if it really starts bouncing around within this channel. But you can see the bounces within this channel have created a lot of swing trading opportunities, a lot of long, year-long investment opportunities. So UAMY I still like overall. It's just the RT is very suppressed right now. And unless we get back above, or out of this channel to the upside, I'm not going to be, too bullish right now. PSIX, we got a little gap fill here. That'll probably be your best bet for some bullish momentum to the upside. As far as a stock, RT starting to curve its way around. Forecasted data, not too shabby. EPS on the rise. Sales 62%. Growth rate 30%. Nice, nice. Let's see here. Oh, GEV just turned to a buy. You sell any premium now? Interesting. All right, here's Palantir. Talk about channels. Here's a channel. I've said it before. Palantir, as long as it stayed in the channel, not a concern. Right now, what I see potentially happening is rejection from the bottom end of this channel, right? I'm not saying it's happened yet. It's not. Stock's up today. But just be careful as we get closer to the bottom of this channel, right? The market's going to find out if it wants it in the channel or not. They're going to tell us. UMY RT going to R2 of 0.01. Stay there. Huh? What do you mean by that, John? But yeah, that would be my concern with Palantir. I will say I did have the conversation with my cousin about Palantir. He doesn't trade stock. Well, he owns a lot of semiconductors. He doesn't trade them. He invests in them, right? He does not own Palantir. He thinks it's a great company, but he does, I didn't even talk to him about the valuation. He just knew about the valuation concerns. But he's got a bunch of other good semis, so he probably doesn't need Palantir. But overall, still trending, lower left, upper right. But just ever since it broke this channel, again, just be careful. But the forecasted data, actually, let's see what value's doing. Hey, let's see here. Value went from 11 to 22. So our value has actually doubled in the last 12 months. So I do like that. Obviously, it could speed things up a little bit. I'd feel a bit more comfortable. But just be careful of Palantir as long as it's on the bottom end of this channel. Or sorry, below that channel. Here's Fresh. This is perfect. This is why I like value here. Look at this. This stock way overvalued, trended down, value on the rise. And look, price action is literally moving with our valuation right now. I actually like that. And RT just got above 1. Earnings per share on the rise. Forecasted data, 15, 28% respectively. Nice stock. DLO, yes, it's volatile. So you can probably use this for swing trading purposes as well. Actually, it's only volatile on earnings. Look, gap up, gap down. So it's gappy during earnings, so be careful of that. RT's below 1. Let's do this here. RT's below 1, so we know it's in a downtrend, right? We know it's in a downtrend. So if I'm going to get excited, to really take advantage of the break in this trend, it would be breaking this trend line, right? Otherwise, if you bought this dip here, this is why I would be careful of if it dropped below 12.1, because that would put us in a new low here. Now, let's see. Let's actually use the 50. Yeah, look at that. Rejection at the 50 here. Look, see, it jumped up and then gapped right below it. Yeah, be careful with this one. Be careful. You see the sell was given. But yeah, let's see. Let's actually check off stop. Yeah, I need to stay above that stop price for sure. Otherwise, definitely stay above $12, 12.17. Here's iron. Oh, I can't say I'm happy about that because I wanted to be cheap and get it closer to 30. But it hasn't broke above 50, so it's still back just in consolidation. Maybe if we could get value up a little bit more. I still like this stock. I mean, this company, CoreWeave, NBIS, they've got a lot of huge growth when it comes to revenue over the next few years. You see the earnings per share here rising. This is forecasted data. Growth rate in earnings, 40%. 40%. Sales growth rate, 355%. I know it looks expensive now, and this is a personal opinion, not a VectorVest opinion. But I think in a year or two from now, it's going to look like a good price. Real good price. Evita Solutions, price is falling. Rejection at the 50 every time. Value is falling. This is exactly what I do not want to see. So I don't know if you gave me this. Just be careful with this one. Iron will do as Bitcoin do. No. We can talk about it. It will not. Because I already talked about it a couple months ago, and that's the whole reason why I liked iron in the first place, because they pivoted away from the Bitcoin mining. And actually, I think it was an Ethereum miner. I forget which one it mined. Might have been Ethereum. Actually, will someone Google that? It did start out as Ethereum and Bitcoin, but it transitioned, right? So I'm not worried about the Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's got a market cap of what? Depending on the day, maybe $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion, right? Possibly $2 trillion on a good day. AI market cap, a lot more money. So iron is smart to pivot. And they already had the existing infrastructure. Think about it. Bitcoin mining operations aren't that much different than AI data centers, right? Do you know why ASTS and Rocket Lab running? Is it fake news? I'd have to see. I haven't looked at the news on those two. But this stock right here, I don't know who gave me this, IVDA. The only reason why I don't think you're getting a good deal on it, because look, the deal gets worse and worse, the value, right? So look at that. That's why I don't like value dropping with price. Here's ABEO. It's doing a whole lot of nothing over the last 6 months. The only thing you got going for is the value is finally catching up to it. But on a technical perspective, you broke the 50, rejection. So I'll put it like this. This is your last savior. Put a little trend line here, and hopefully price action gets above that 50. If it doesn't, stick to your plan. Stay disciplined. But if it breaks this trend line, I'm not going to ride that thing down any further. It was a nice swing trade. I liked value rising. But ever since earnings, look at this. Look at this earnings here. Ever since earnings, look at the valuation. Just went poopy. Can is a Bitcoin miner. And it's more focused. They sell devices to mine Bitcoin, essentially. They were a Chinese company, but they had to move to Hong Kong. Many of you know China outlawed a lot of that Bitcoin mining during the COVID days. The chart's not there. The value is declining. As far as an investment, earnings per share has dropped. It had a nice swing trade. We talked about it. Hopefully you took some profits here along the way. But right now, I'm not as enthused as far as an investment as I would have liked. And that earnings here really dented that sentiment, unfortunately. Here's NBIS. Look at this guy. Value's ticking up here. And again, NBIS, iron, CoreWeave. I did a video on these, and I don't remember the exact numbers, so don't quote me to death. But you're essentially going from, maybe 100 million. But I'll put it like this. All these companies partnership with Microsoft and the hyperscalers, their revenue is about to astronomical, right? You can Google the reports or whatever. Hopefully it works out here. NBIS, as long as it stays in this ascending channel, I like it. As far as fundamentally, I think a lot of that premium is already baked in. Look, we only value it around $20. Earnings per share is actually falling right now. Growth rate is -8. So I'm not going to go off of AI hopes and dreams here. As long as it stays in that ascending channel, hey, make that money. But if it breaks it to the downside, please just stay disciplined. Stay disciplined. Qubits, no wonder you were asking me about quantum stocks, right? But I can tell you right now, unless there's some really good news happening over the last few days here, I could just see a simple retest at the 50 from the bottom end. And if you see that rejection come to fruition, it's ultimately your decision, but try to act accordingly, right? Value, it's just overvalued. I get it. Quantum, it can change the world. I'm not going to sleep on quantum. I'm not going to pay that much of a premium at least far as an investment. If you want to trade, there's a lot of trading perspectives here. If we use this line, actually worked out pretty well last time. We broke above it. Wow, that's kind of crazy because that trend line is right around that 50-day. So it's got a lot of reasons to find some rejection there. So just be careful of this one. But look at the earnings per share moving in the right direction. Growth rate kind of all over the place here. So just be careful. Ryan came in late to the live. Did you talk about Palantir? Yes, I did. It was on the list. There's a lot of stocks today. Here's Riot. Riot's got a lot more exposure to what Bitcoin does. If it makes that pivot to more of the AI, the data center play, repurposing some of its infrastructure, that'd get me a lot more excited. It might be doing it now. I haven't done the research on it. Probably what I would look at. But I will tell you this, just adding this line here, that's my zone for resistance, right? We broke above it, parabolic move, came back down here, found support, broke above that zone. I'm looking at this retest here. Look at this. A little bit of a retest, not quite the conviction I'd like to see from that retest. So just be careful on this one. Sell rating is in effect. Here's IONQ. It's heading to that 50. We're going to find out if we get some real confirmation here. And this resistance here's rare. It's at this prior swing high. So yeah, if we break above this, let's get it back above the 50. Just be careful here. The valuations, all these quantum, I'm going to say all of them, but most of the quantums are overvalued. So you really have to, stick to a plan. Earnings per share on the decline, growth rate earnings on the decline. I've studied a lot about IONQ. I know their headquarters out of Maryland, and they got a lot of government contracts and a lot of good things in the works, right? But again, it's quantum, speculative. Stick to the technicals. Right now, they're under pressure, and I'm not quite seeing the confirmation to be a buyer. If you bought this dip down here, or if you've been holding it for a year and you're just going to hold it no matter what, it is what it is, right? Let's see here. Here is CoreWeave. Let's extend this little channel, descending channel here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, did we break it finally? Did we break it? Let's see. Let's zoom in. Looks like we're breaking it, right? We're still below the stop price, so it's still troubled waters. The 50 comes in around a 111. Right now it's 88. So yeah, you probably do have a little bit of room to wiggle. And honestly, this prior swing low here, 114, right around the 50. I could see some reasons for the price action to stop around there. So yeah, might be a good little swing trade in the meantime, not gonna lie. But overall, it's risky. Look at that over the last 6 months. Very, very risky position to just jump in. All right. Woo, we went over today, didn't we? I didn't even realize that was quick. We went by that real quick today. All right, we did a whole lot of stocks today. Before I go, does anyone have any questions about the software, about our indicators, about something that maybe we covered today, and you just didn't ask the question, right? Please ask the question, right? Because one of the things I've always said about VectorVest and really just investing in general, it's kind of like life. What you put into it is typically what you're going to get out of it, right? So make sure you put in the time and effort to really take control of your financial future. And utilizing VectorVest, as most of you know that are subscribers here, welcome to the new people. As well, to the new people, with this rally right now, we got a trial, 99 cents. You know me, I'm not much of a salesperson, but it will be the lowest price of the year. Other than that, the entry price for the trial is like $10. So, if you want to save some money and learn some things over the next few weeks, during that trial period, hey. Still wondering about my question about HL and the 100% ROI. VIX, that 100%, I cannot tell you what there's to sell to buy. Just listen to it, read between the lines of what I'm trying to say in the video, right? And like I said, the remaining 100%, you do not have to close it all out, right? Maybe close out 20%, 50, right? Tiptoe in, tiptoe out, right? So don't think it's just, a binary, you have to, all in, all out, right? If you have some concerns with Hecla, reduce your exposure, right? But just listen to the chart. Listen to the chart. John says, I have questions about the JPI. That's that Joey perfect indicator. All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this Thursday's round for Trending Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for the Mobile Stock Analysis Power Hour. Everybody have a great afternoon. Take care. Bye.